overview big things that maybe you uncovered that surprised you or feel need to be addressed?
I don't think necessarily surprised. I just think it, I think the obvious are the, turnover takeaway ratio. We need to be better, both sides. Red zone, both sides. And there's a number of reasons behind that I'm not going to get into. And then third quarter production or lack thereof, we can be better on both sides, So I think those are the three things that we've kind of came away with. There's other areas, but those were the big ones collectively as a team. I know that for us special teams, we got to get Leaf going. We're so close. We've been close. But man, we are, we're one block away. There's just, we're close, but we got to start breaking some of these with him in the return game.
You guys were afforded a little rest, relaxation. I was just curious, some of the guys that have been dealing with some things, are they closer? Montgomery, Ragnow, Jackson, to name a few?
All three of those guys moved around today. They were out there. Today was really more priming the pump, get them ready for tomorrow. But we did some individual, some group, did a special team segment, and they were all involved, all three of those guys.
For the weekend for those guys?
Yeah, I think so. We'll see tomorrow and we pat them up, but, they've been trending the right way now for a while, so certainly hopeful,
You made that trade last week, but it was a bye week. How did you begin the onboarding process with DPJ, if at all, last week, or is that just kind of start today?
I think more of it was just getting him in here, getting him acclimated with, just everybody that our resources that we have. We'll get him up to speed with the playbook here. Make sure he's good and healthy, and then just see where it is. Certainly we acquired him because we think he can help us, but I also want to make sure he's ready. Mentally and physically, he's 100% ready. Before we do that. So this week will be big for him. He was out there today, and then, tomorrow we'll see where it's at and just kind of take it day to day.
What are some of the goals for the half of the year? Obviously, you guys came up high. I guess what's the goals moving forward for you guys? What would you like to see from this team week to week?
Well, I know this. By December, we need to be playing our best football collectively and up to date. Like the Chargers, we need to play our best football game. We still have left so much out there, and as good as we played to get 6 wins, we've been able to complement each other, but yet I would say we have not played our best football collectively, offense, defense, and special teams. So we got to play a clean game. We got to come out with no turnovers. We need to get our takeaways back. We talked about red zone and those things. We need a fast start in the third quarter. So I just think cleaning some of those things up, our focus to the details of what we're doing, got to take another step up, another notch up.
How interesting is this to already be on a bye, so it gave you a little extra time to scout an opponent, but then you get kind of a live one on a Monday night too, shortens their week a little bit too. Just how much extra work do you get, a chance to see them on Monday night and the work that you've already been done with the bye?
Yeah, I would say, the bye helps you because you've already, here's the, I don't know how much, tonight's game, we'll certainly look at that, but the hay is kind of already in the barn. We've got an 8-game snapshot of this team already, and there's not going to be a ton that will change on that. There'll be a couple things that we'll just make sure we'll verify one way or another, but it's really, the bye gives you that luxury to kind of catch up. But I also told the staff I did not at the sake of us not looking at ourselves and deep diving ourselves and putting in a little bit of work today. I wanted to make sure our guys got that and saw that, because it's always going to be about us. It is. So we'll really deep dive the Chargers tomorrow. They come in, and then we'll start on them.
Now that you're through the bye and he can get some continuous practice if he's ready, what are the plans? Or do you have any clarity?
Who's that? I'm sorry.
Hendon Hooker. Just any clarity on what the plans are for him now?
We're not there yet. He's getting better, and we'll make that decision when we feel like it's ready to go. But we've certainly discussed him. The only way he's going to get practice is if you put him on the roster. So we know that's the obvious. It's just a matter of when we do it.
I want to go back to red zone. I know you said you didn't want to get too much into it, but it's just always a small sample size with those, right? Like there's percentages get a little weird, but you were toward the top of the league last year in scoring in those opportunities, and closer to the bottom of the league right now. Is there a big picture element that you're missing there right now that's not allowing you to convert?
No, I mean, look, I think we need to do better in third down, but some of that is because second down wasn't as good, right? And you're getting in some of these long situations. Defensively, it's really in both sides. They're self-induced, you know, and so that's the tough part of it. But it's also that's the encouraging part. We can clean all these things up. So, you know, certainly be able to convert or make them manageable conversions. We get them in third and long defensively. We can't allow them to do it. You know, there's a couple of things that have shown up, and it really is. It's whether it's turnover or it's penalty on offense, a holding, or it's, you know, a DPI or something. You know, those have kind of bit us a little bit there. So those are all things we can clean up, and it's just a reminder for all of us. You know, we get down there, and it's really about alleviating the mistakes, you know, more than it is making the plays. It's, man, alleviate the errors, and that'll go a long way for us.
Coach, can you speak to how tall of a task it was for Colby to come in, start Monday Night Football, being a former fifth rounder, and probably not anticipating that he would start with the guys that are in front of him on that O-line?
Yeah, it's you know, it is big. I think that's a big step for him, and it's not the easiest thing to do, especially at that position, you know. And so, you know, I thought that he did an admirable job. He stepped in there, and it was a better showing than you know, when we had to use him in Atlanta. Now, that was out at right tackle, you know, and that's a different position all in itself as well. But I thought he represented himself well and banged away in there. And what we learned is it's not too big for him. And so he's another guy, the more reps he gets, the better he'll get. But no, that's a good sign because, you know, you don't know how it's going to play out, but some guys it's too much, too early. And some guys, boy, they love the opportunity, and they thrive in it. And I thought he stepped up, and it wasn't too big.
You promoted Trevor Nowaski off the practice squad while we were away. Was there something you needed there that he offered, or was there somebody trying to poach him off the practice squad? What was behind that move?
Yeah, he was being poached, potentially. So, you know, we didn't want to lose him. And we felt like we had the flexibility to make that move. We feel like we're going to need him before it's all said and done, and we like where he's going. He's another young guy that we've got on this roster that's really developing and growing. And he's, you know, that's a good room right now. All 7 of those guys, counting him, I mean, it's an outstanding room between what they're able to do defensively, but special teams too. I mean, we rely on them for a lot. So yeah, he was a guy that we didn't want to lose.
If you do get David Montgomery back this week, what's the plan with Gibbs? Does it go back to where it was, or maybe have you gained a little bit more trust in Gibbs where maybe it's more of like a 50-50?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly we know what David can do, but we know that Gibbs has gotten better every week. So we're going to ask those guys to do things they do well and that help our offense move the football. So, you know, I don't think necessarily sitting here talking to you right now that I see Gibbs getting 65 plays. You know, I don't see that, but he's going to get his fair share now. We know what he can be, and he's growing. So I think it'll be a little bit by committee, and